Another coach making baffling decisions is none other than Michigan head coach Juwan Howard, whose team is also, they're both 6-9, by the way. Both of them are 6-9. Michigan stinks. They weren't very good last year with, again, we've talked about this, Hunter Dickinson and 2 first-round picks. They stink this year. Juwan missed the beginning of the year with after a heart procedure, came back, sat in the assistant seat for a while, eventually took over. There was an altercation, verbal altercation with the strength coach, John Sanderson, that really didn't result in any sort of punishment for either. Juwan's back now. They're still losing. They've lost now, I believe,
4 straight. They've lost 4 in a row.
I mean, they've been terrible. They've been absolutely terrible. And yesterday, they're going to play Penn State at the Palestra. And Juwan decides, I'm going to do a really nice thing for Phil Martelli, who has taken over for him earlier this year when he was out recovering. And I'm going to let Phil Martelli coach back at the Palestra. All right. Give me your thought. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
You can't do it. You cannot. I've never seen a head coach just be like, I'm not the head coach today. And I know it's been a weird year because he had this heart procedure and Phil Martelli had to take over. And, I'm glad that Juwan Howard is healthy enough to be back. But you can't just cede the position on, even if it's a nice gesture. Like Phil Martelli is a legend in Philly. A legend.
Yeah.
But Phil Martelli's job is to be an assistant coach. Juwan Howard's job is to be the head coach. And now that he is physically back to being able to be the head coach, play a tribute video for Phil Martelli.
That's right.
Do every timeout you could honor Phil Martelli. Like there's a lot of other things that you could do. We see it in the NBA all the time. Player comes back, tribute video. They could have played 30 tribute videos for Phil Martelli, but you can't make him the head coach. You just, the optics are bad. You've lost 4 in a row. You've lost 8 of 10. You lost to McNeese. You've had all of this other stuff happen. There is so much swirling around your fan base. And then you lose the game, and that's not, would it probably have been the same if Juwan coached versus Phil Martelli? Yeah, probably. I mean, who knows what would be different? I saw Juwan Howard still had the whiteboard at some point. So it's not like he was totally uninvolved with the game. But it's just, it looks so bad, especially when you lose.
Yeah.
And I'm sure their fans are like, well, why are we having him be the head coach if he's just giving the job away for a game? It just doesn't make any sense. This program is, this is shocking to see the way that they've fallen. And they're bad. Like, they are bad. Their defense is awful. I watched Penn State the other night score 60 points or 55 points and look awful doing it in East Lansing. Awful doing it. And I think they scored 79, like their defense is bad. They turned it over like against the press as if the basketball was on fire. Like that's how they handled the ball. It was so bad. And I just, their team is actually, their talent is not awful.
Nope.
Their bench is not great. But when you look
in the Big Ten this year, they should be like in the middle.
No, and the Big Ten is down, but you have Doug McDaniel, who is a good point guard. I know his numbers have taken a hit here recently. Kamwa can play.
Yeah.
You have Burnett, you have Terrace Reed, and Terrence Williams has had like the best year of his career. I mean, he's actually played well.
Those five are talent-wise certainly in the middle of that league at the worst case.
Yeah, but now you look at the bench and Trey Jackson and Will Cheddar, that's probably that's really the only guys that they're playing, with Jace Howard having, not that he's a great player, but he plays his role and he plays hard. They should be better than 6-9. I mean, I feel like I see a Greg Waddell video every day. That's just, and they're really funny, but he's distraught. And I'm sure that's how a lot of the Michigan fans feel.
So here's how the conversation probably went, right? Juwan went to, first he went to Martelli, and Martelli was like, yeah, sure, why not? This will be cool.
It's like, I've coached most of the games anyway.
Right.
I'm sure.
And by the way, he's coached at the Palestra enough. Like he really didn't need another one here. Who cares? He's been there enough. And then he went to, Juwan goes to Ward Manual. the
I'm
Michigan AD.
surprised that Ward Manuel wasn't like, no.
But Rob, here's what Ward Manuel said. Basically, who gives a shit? I don't care. I have bigger things to worry about right now. I have to worry about the football and that. Go ahead and do whatever the hell you want to do.
Wait, you know this? You know
Get
that he
out
said
of my
this?
face. Like,
Or you
get
are
out of
assuming
my
he said this?
office. I
Hold
don't
on.
care.
You know he said this, or you're
I'm
assuming?
guessing.
You're assuming. Okay.
I'm assuming it went like that. Juwan went in and talked to Ward Manuel, and Ward was like, I don't have time for this shit. You
See,
saw
but that's that's
stinks.
wrong on Ward Manuel. Then I know that you've got the national championship. How much more effort is it to say no? You're the head coach. You coach the team.
You're going to coach. I pay you a lot of money.
Yeah.
I pay you a lot of money. This program right now is in shambles.
Well, and if he pushes back, say, we have had enough heat on this program as it is. You are one of our most famous basketball alum we've ever had.
Yeah.
We want this to work. This is not a good look if you don't coach the game. That is what an AD would do that is locked in, and not that he doesn't care. I know football's going on. I know for the University of Michigan, that is where 99.9% of their focus and their fan base is looking at. But when football ends, those people will come over to watch the basketball team, and they'll be like, what is happening? I read this story 2 weeks ago. Why did Juwan not coach the game? You know, that is bizarre to me. And that's, Juwan should have known better, I feel like. And if he didn't, then Ward Manuel should know better. This basketball program has gone from one that is one of the best in the country to this year. It's kind of been a laughingstock.